Hello, hello. Welcome on into the pre-show before the free show.
Oh,
my
you are
Lord.
really blurry. Whoa.
This camera.
It's quite something. Let's see how I look.
I've got another
Okay,
one,
that's
though.
better. Oh, wow.
I have two cameras on
Okay. We've got multicam on our producer.
I like that one. It's
meanwhile,
always
hey,
on.
can you cut to my second camera?
You don't have one.
Right.
It's gone. We typically do have one there, but I sent the interns out for a little video project.
They've got projects.
They have projects
and all
too.
the cameras are,
Correct.
Our cameras are very much in like transit at the moment to a variety of different places. Between like this show and then tomorrow, y'all are going to be at Big 12 Media Days, and then
Coaching school.
We're going to be at coaching school. What else? 3, 2, 1. Corey Hogue is going to be at the United Athletic Conference Media
Oh, is he
Days
taking the
on
cameras?
Friday? I think so. I don't know.
All right.
Hi, Corey, if you are.
Let us know.
Let us know. Yeah, we are right now. We are in a position where we are kind of
Correct.
flying by the seat of our pants. So
Yes.
it's a fun time, but it's a busy time. And you may notice that we've got Mallory Hartley in the jump seat today.
Mm-hmm.
Now. Do people know about your living situation?
Yes, we told them on WTF.
Okay.
Yeah,
You did
so
talk
it's
about
it's not a secret.
that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you and Ashley Pickle are now roommates.
Correct.
You guys are living together.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand yesterday you guys had a wonderful homeowner experience. Would you like to share with the class?
I will share with the class. So it's a long day at work. We had a lot to do. This is a very, very, very busy week for both of us in terms of just different events that are going on. We get home, and we were already planning on going to just grab a beer just to kind of relax and stuff after the long work week, or work day, rather. And we walk in, and I walk in first, and I'm like, something doesn't feel right. So I go to this thermostat, and it's 84 degrees in our house. And I'm like, oh boy, did we accidentally turn off the AC unit? Like, what's going on here? No, it's still running. There's just hot air coming out of it.
And yesterday was hot, but it wasn't like the worst day of the year.
Right.
It was hot. It's a summer day in July in Texas, but like it wasn't like the 107 degrees that we've experienced at other points.
Exactly. So thankful for that. Mm-hmm. So Pickle walks in and she's like, "Oh, there's something wrong." We went upstairs. We tried to feel that one out, and both air conditioning units are on. Like we can hear it running downstairs outside. Mm-hmm. Hot air was, I guess, the air was circulating and it was just blowing out what's outside. So we tried to get somebody on the phone. We couldn't get anybody yesterday. So we packed up everything and we went to East Side and we worked a little bit from there, which is a bar in Denton. And then we came back to see if, miraculously it had been turned back on. It had only gone up to 85 degrees. So we were like, all right, let's pack everything up. We packed our cat Ava up and we headed to, I claim her as, I'm her aunt. So I claim her as partly mine. Half mine.
I'm sorry. Did you just say that you're a cat's aunt?
Yes. She calls me Aunt Mal. She's cute. We love her.
Okay.
Anyways, we didn't want to leave her, so we packed her up. We stayed at a friend's house last night. It was great. The AC was fantastic. We get up this morning about 6:30 to head back so we can get ready for work and everything. And we come in. I get out of the car first, and I heard, like, alarms going off. And I was like, oh, gosh, like some neighbors, their fire alarm's going off. It was not some neighbor's alarm. It was our house.
Your fire alarms
all of our fire alarms were going off in our house at 7 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have any idea when they started.
No.
They could have been going on for hours.
We felt horrible because we were like, oh, we know our neighbors heard it, but, like, obviously we weren't going to stay there last night. We couldn't.
Right.
And so they could have been going off for hours, and we just didn't know. So we walk in, and we're trying to turn them off. We're trying to unplug batteries and stuff like that, but we couldn't figure it out, so we had to end up calling the Denton Fire Department.
Wow.
So they had to come out at 7:15 this morning and figure stuff out. They ended up turning off the one downstairs. They took out the battery And that turned all of them off. But we were also concerned, like, hey, we don't have access to our attic. We can't get up there.
Right.
And so we were concerned, like, oh, is there something up there? You know, is there fire that, you know, was caused by it being just super hot in the house? But luckily, nothing like that. I think it was just a bad battery. But yeah, we had to go through all of that in a span of less than 24 hours. So it's been a trip. And yeah, Pickle's at home waiting for the AC guy to come and fix our stuff.
Shout out to the Denton Fire Department.
Big shout out to them. They were all very nice, very nice. They could tell that we were just over it, so they were very kind to us.
Okay.
So good. Yeah, that was our
That's quite an adventure you guys have. Have you
tired.
considered that maybe you guys are jinxing each other?
I hope not, because I like living with her.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe Ava's the jinx.
Maybe Ava is the jinx. Maybe Ava's doing this to us.
You know what? Cats are sneaky.
Cats are sneaky. I've never done her wrong, though, so I don't think she's doing it on purpose.
Oh, I don't know. Considering, you're her. Maybe you've done her wrong because she doesn't want an ant.
No, she does. She does. She told me.
A cat. Hit the theme, Expo. Pickle! Did the air sound. Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership here in beautiful Lewisville, Texas. It's Texas Football Today, a show with air conditioning.
Yes.
Honestly, too much air conditioning.
Feels great.
It's very cold in here.
That's fine.
My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all the places, or listen to us on the podcast, which you can subscribe to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Either way, thank you for doing your part. Support your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. She's my Mal Pal. She's your Mal Pal. She's our Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
She's QB2. She's Mallory Hartley. Hi, Mallory.
Hi. Does he play for Washington?
Washington. I think he's
That's
Washington's
right.
backup.
Yeah. Okay. Good one.
Yeah. I have to continue to look up backup quarterbacks in the NFL.
It's a bit now.
Exactly right. Us do bits?
No.
Today is Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. 135 days until Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to the 6th President of the United States. That's right. Happy birthday to John Quincy Adams. Mm-hmm. I hope he's having a great birthday wherever he is. I hope that he's just eating a lot of cake and just being surrounded by the people that... What's this? Oh, it's terrible. I'm getting late-breaking word that John Quincy Adams has been dead for 175 years.
Wow.
That's tough.
You just respected a dead person.
I did not. I wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday to Braintree, Massachusetts' own John Quincy Adams. Dude, imagine... Think about this. You're the President of the United States. Mm-hmm. And you're not, like, people have to use your middle name because there was already one who used your, you know what I mean?
I know.
Like
That's
Adams
a good.
Was the second president.
Right, exactly.
And then JQA rolls around.
JQA.
Yes.
That's
but
rad.
that's because he was his, I mean, like, this is the ultimate, like, because his dad was the second president. Mm-hmm. And so it was like well,
it's like George W. Bush and...
Yeah, and George H.W. Bush.
Yeah.
But it's like, talk about, like, the family business. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, being president. But, like, that... I don't know. I guess
Those
that's
are tough
true.
shoes
I
to
guess
fill.
true. Like, we did it. We've done that twice.
Yeah.
How have we had 46 presidents and 4 of them had the same name?
I don't know. That's nuts. It's crazy to think about. It's like...
I
guess the president gene just must run in like a family.
Look,
Look,
I got to be honest. If we have a guy named Woodrow Wilson run for president next year, we're gonna have a talk about.
It's gonna be Greg Tepper. It's gonna be another Greg Tepper. It's gonna be the other Greg Tepper, the artist or the author.
Yeah.
Isn't there an author?
I know there's a. I haven't Googled my name recently. I know there's a.
It's the one on Twitter that took your ad. At Greg Tepper.
No, that's just
that
some
one.
dude who just.
Okay, he's not an author.
He sucks. Comes down to that Greg Tepper, but the guy who's a Russian, there's an Israeli bodybuilder, and there is a travel agent who specializes in tours of Russia.
Okay.
Those two are cool. Those are the cool Greg Teppers and me. And then there's the one who squatted on Greg Tepper on Twitter. Anyway,
Not cool.
It's episode 1617, I think.
16.
16. On today's show, folks, we've got Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
Thank you. Where we're going to take a look at we've got our rankings rolling out on TexasFootball.com, which you can go see. And so we've got new number ones, and I want to tell you what being a number one means. I've looked back through the data, and figured out exactly what it means to be number one and what you can expect if your team starts the year number one. We'll talk about that. And then back half of the show, down at State 7 on 7, we caught up with the new head coach of Pflugerville Weiss, Coach Vernon Hughes. Matt Stepp caught up with him. Great interview with him. He's fired up to take over the Wolves, as he should be. Excited to see what they're able to do there at Pflugerville Weiss as Vernon Hughes takes over. So we will hear from him coming up here at the back half of the program. Do we have first four through the door?
We sure do. It was Nick Morton, Aaron Arbuckle, Ed McElroy. I said that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then we, the Dwarfs, are suing Snow White.
Yeah, you already. Yeah.
Welcome in, guys.
Yeah, just are, just doing bits.
If I was just a casual fan of this show, I would change my name to something ridiculous every day and make sure I was first four.
I've thought about this a little bit, but it would simultaneously be good and terrible if we just had chat coming down here, on this side of the screen, live chat. I don't know if that would necessarily work out well.
Maybe we'd have to turn it up. We'd have to turn it to it couldn't be allow all comments. It would have to be hide inappropriate comments. So we could do it, but you never know. I don't trust people.
I don't know if I trust these people.
I don't either.
Anyway. All right, Mallory. We've only got a couple more of these because football season is careening towards us. But it's time for a very special edition of Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday. Here on Texas Football Today, where we dive inside the numbers and take a look at some of the interesting data having to do with football in the state of Texas. And so if you go to TexasFootball.com for subscribers, or if you have your magazine, which subscribers have their magazine, you can see our rankings for the 2023 Texas high school football season. For all classifications, we've got them up on TexasFootball.com. I think we got the top 10s on the website, and then we've got the top 25 for 6A on the website for subscribers. So you can see who starts the year number 8. You can see who starts the year number 4. You can also see who starts the year number 1. And look, I freely admit I think I'm a bad marketer for Dave Campbell's Texas football when I say this. I freely recognize that our rankings are really for entertainment purposes only. Mm-hmm. They have no the great thing about high school football is that it all sorts itself out. They settle it on the field, right? Mm-hmm. What we think is ultimately irrelevant. But I do think that over the course of 64 years, we have become pretty decent at kind of looking at teams and from the outset. To kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Judging them and kind of evaluating those teams and putting them in order. Now, this is not supposed to be a segment that tells you all about how great we are at ranking, because we're not, and we're pretty good at it. But we've done segments about this. I want to focus specifically on the number one teams, the teams that start the year number one, because this is not going to come as a surprise. If you're the number one team in the state, that means we think that you're going to win the state championship, a state championship. So if you're in 6A, that means whatever division you go in, we think that you're going to be favored in every one of your games, right? We think you should theoretically go 16-0 and win the state championship. But it doesn't always work out like this. So here's what I did, Mallory. I went back through the last 23 seasons. Mm-hmm. I went all the way back to 2000. Every preseason ranking that we have done in the UIL ranks, every preseason ranking that we've done, and I found the number one team in each ranking, and I found out what they did that season.
How long did it take you to do that? I'm curious.
It took me a minute.
Okay.
It did take me a minute.
Okay.
So I went through and looked at all these things. And Now, there's a grand total, by the way, of 100. We've ranked 191 teams number one over the course of the last 22 years. 2002, 23 because 2000.
Because this is it,
Yeah, so 23. The last 23 years, we've had 191 number one teams across the classifications. One thing you have to remember, and one thing that took me a long time to do over the course of the last X number of time, is you have to remember that division splits have been different.
Right.
Like that. So, like for example, there's only ever been one number one in 6A because they've never done a division split.
Right.
But before 2018, there was only one 5A number one. After 2018, there were two 5A number ones because they have the preseason division split. That's why we have 191 number one teams over the last 23 years. Okay? Now, let me ask you, Mallory, if you start the year number one, if Arlington High,
let's go.
Go, kick them.
Kick them.
K-I-C-K-E-M. If Arlington starts the year number one, what would be the minimum that they can achieve that you would say that was a good year? Minimum. Because obviously you're thinking state championship. But what is the minimum that they can achieve that you would say, okay, that was a pretty good year?
If they're ranked number one.
If they start the year number one.
Minimum. I'd have to say, you're expecting them to at least make it to AT&T
You think
Stadium.
State championship?
Yes.
Or state
maybe not
game.
necessarily win, but it has to be close.
But
you have to, I think, at least make it there.
Okay.
Yes.
I think I agree.
Yeah.
I think we're I might be talked into. You got to win your region. You got to go to the semifinals.
If you match up with someone real tough,
I would say semifinal at least.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the 191 teams that started the year ranked number one according to Dave Campbell's Texas Football. And of those 191 teams, all but two made the playoffs. Okay? There are only two teams that started the year number one that did not make the playoffs.
Wow.
2000, Gordon in the six-man ranks did not make the playoffs. Now, that gets a little bit of a caveat because I believe at that point it might have only been one team make the playoffs, but at minimum, at most two teams make the playoffs in each district. It's a little bit of caveat. The other one, 2001 West Orange Stark, started the year number one in 4A Division II, finished 5-5 and missed the playoffs. So, but 98, if you're the number one team in Dave Campbell's Texas Football, we're saying you can book your playoff hotel.
Yeah.
You can go, and first round of the playoffs, you're going to be there.
Should be an easy ride
You
there,
should be there. 94.7% of them, so almost 95% of our number one teams make it to the second round. They make it to the second round, which means they win a first-round playoff game, or there was a small window of time where in 3A where you got a first-round bye. So 181 out of 191, 94.7. There were a few that lost. For example, 2003 Lufkin lost in the first round of the playoffs. Let me see if I can sort this real quick. They lost in the first round of the playoffs. The most recent team to start the year number one and lose in the first round of the playoffs was in 2017 when Cameron Yo started the year number one in 3A Division I, and they've lost in the first round of the playoffs. They were also 4-7 that year. So at that point, it probably wasn't necessarily a surprise, right? So 95% of the time, again, you can probably book yourself into the second round at least. We talked about the difference between
big dip.
The semifinals, right?
Yeah.
Winning your region to make a state semifinals, 61.7% of the teams made the state semifinals. They started the year number one. They went to the state semifinals, right? So what we were talking about, we would say that of those number one teams, if you consider semifinals a successful year, almost 62% of them did that. Okay? Then you get to a title game. More than 50% of our number one teams over the last 23 years have made it to a championship game.
That's a lot higher than I would probably expect. Wouldn't you?
I think that is
over 50%.
I was a little surprised.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised that we, and again, this is not. I don't intend this to be us patting ourselves on the back type segment. 50% surprised me when I looked at this. That you've got a 50-50 shot. If you start the year number one, historically, you have a 50-50 shot of making it to AT&T Stadium.
Right.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
You have a 50-50 shot. And then at the very top, 38.7%. That's the number. 38.7. 74 of the 191 teams won their state championship that year. Okay? So which honestly makes sense in the sense of if you compare it to the number that makes a state championship game.
Right.
That means that once you make it to the title game, number one teams are 74 and 23 in the title game. Mm-hmm. They win about 3/4 of the time in the title game. Once they make it there, but also you're playing the best team the other best team in the state at that point. So it's not a surprise that the number one team has proven themselves to be pretty worthy. They make it to a state championship game. They finish it off with the title almost 40% of the time overall. Mm-hmm. In crunching these numbers, I think the overall takeaway I've got is that if you start the year number one, I think I agree with you that the state championship game should be the goal. Should be the minimum.
The minimum. Yes, I agree.
You should make it to a title game if you start the year number one.
Because I think that percentage is high enough to say more often than not, by a very small margin, you should make
a majority of the time.
Yeah.
A majority of the time, if you start the year number one, you make it to a state championship game.
Right.
At that point, this is how I viewed it for the past few years. If you are if you're in a state championship game, maybe there's a favorite, maybe there's not, but it's a coin flip. Mm-hmm. Like overall, maybe you're a slight favorite, maybe you're a slight underdog, but in the grand scheme of things, it's a coin flip. But making it to the state championship game, more than 50% of the time, the number one team makes it to a state championship game. I think that if you want to say semifinals, you could maybe talk me into it, but I think you're right. I think if you're the number one team, the expectation is you should be playing for a state championship.
Yep, I agree.
So you can go check out who our number one teams are for the 2023 season in the 2023 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football or on TexasFootball.com right now. And that is Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on TexasFootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, Instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at TexasFootball.com. TexasFootball.com is where you can find complete coverage of high school football, college football, and recruiting all across the Lone Star State. Hope you'll consider becoming a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber at TexasFootball.com/subscribe. Now, a word from these goods and services.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texas loves doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
The Gambling Gauchos are a Texas Tech podcast serving you money lines, memes, and matador content on Twitter, YouTube, and StakingThePlains.com.
Well, let's put it this way. They pay me off in tortillas, I'm going to shoot them right in the eye.
If you're looking for more Big 12 sports content from a host who wants a 25 tacos in 20 minutes and another that can provide a taco bites per minute analytical breakdown of the feed, then Rob and Kyle are the hosts for you. New episodes every Sunday and Thursday on the Republic of Football podcast feed.
Mallory, while we were down in College Station at the State 7-on-7 tournament, we caught up with a number of coaches. One of them was watching the team he is now the head coach of. Vernon Hughes, promoted to be the head coach of the Pflugerville Weiss Wolves after Steve Van Meter's retirement. And He's taking over a program with very high expectations. He's got very high expectations for himself and ample reason to believe that they could be in for a very big year there at Pflugerville Weiss. Here is Matt Stepp's conversation with Pflugerville Weiss head coach Vernon Hughes here on Texas Football Today.
Matt Stepp, Dave Campbell's Texas Football back here at the 2023 Texas State 7-on-7 Championships. Here with the head coach of the Pflugerville Weiss Wolves, Coach Vernon Hughes. After a 1-0 start to the day with a 31-13 win over Odessa. Coach, appreciate you chatting with us between games.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, Coach. First of all, it's hot out here. We're on grass. Thankfully, we're not on turf, so we're a little cooler, but it's hot. What are you doing to with your kids? What did you talk to them about this week as far as hydrating and staying healthy in this heat?
Absolutely. My main thing was just to make sure that the kids came in and wanted to compete hard. We have a few kids missing. We have kids on visits. We have some kids at some other places right now. But the most important thing was that we came in and we competed against some of the top kids in the state. I think it was super important that we made sure that our kids hydrated. We made sure that we didn't take it, too hard on the kids, especially this last day of strength and conditioning camp. But the kids came in, they've been working extremely hard. They're super excited, especially with this being the first time in school history that we qualified for the state tournament. I mean, it's huge, man. The excitement around the community and around this place has been awesome.
All right, now you've been to a few state 7-on-7 tournaments as an assistant coach, so you know kind of how the drill works and everything. And I'm sure that what you want to see from your kids as offensive coordinator is a lot of the same as a head coach. What do you want to see out of your kids today? Obviously, you're a competitive guy. You want to go undefeated and get a top spot in your pool and move on to the championship bracket tomorrow. But just as far as the intangibles, what do you want to see from your guys today?
More specifically, I wanted to see the kids make sure that they work our stuff. Whenever you get into 7-on-7, you get a lot of guys, trying to do some 7-on-7 plays, running 7-on-7 defenses. I think it's extremely important that we run and we do what we do what we're going to do on a Friday night from an offensive and a defensive standpoint, to make sure that my kids compete and make sure that my kids execute. Right now we actually can get in some situations to where, we need to get a third down and we have to go for two and we have to, put our kids in these kind of situations to where can they fight through these kind of adversity. And it's hard to do that in practice. So now we can actually get here, get these kids in these kind of situations and actually see them compete and try to put themselves in position to be successful. From a defensive standpoint, we're trying to see will some guys step up with some guys that are missing and actually make plays. We're trying to see will some of these bubble guys, be on the varsity team. We're trying to see are some of these guys that we know can be a player, will they step up and become the dude that we know that they can be? But I think it's important for us to get in, do what we do, put them in a situation to run our stuff and see can we be successful.
All right, now looking ahead at 2023, your first head coaching job, so you're new head coach, but you were at Weiss, so transition was pretty easy, I'm sure, as far as the transition for the kids goes. But for you and your first head coaching job, how has it been? And as far as just taking everything in, I know Coach Van Meter prepped you well for it, but is there anything that maybe you were like, man, I wish I would have knew that before I took this job, just for far as just things to learn and things to do?
I think regardless of how much that you feel like you're prepared for a job, you never know until you're actually in that position. A
lot of old coaches say that, right? Never know how it is till you're in the big chair, right?
Absolutely. And so, I absolutely thought I was ready for this job, and I know that I was. And then actually getting in this spot, I'm like, man, I'm busy, but I'm way more busy than I thought I was going to be. And so, for me, I especially wanted to make sure that the kids knew that I was going to be visible, that I'm always around, but also pour into these kids even more so from being a coordinator to a head coach. You want the kids to know, hey, I'm always going to be here for you. If you need me, I'm there. But also just trying to do all the other logistical things to where, hey, I probably wasn't doing this before. Now I got to make sure that I plan and be properly prepared for other spots as well.
You're the campus coordinator, right?
The boys coordinator.
Yeah, the boys
coordinator. So I'm taking care of everything on the other side and having the other, head coaches for other spots as well. So it's been busy. It's been a busy summer, I'll tell you that as well.
Yeah. All right. Now looking ahead to the fall in 2023, obviously tough district, tough region,
Yeah,
a lot of good teams. For you guys to obviously your bi-district matchup is a really good district, District 11 6A.
Yes, sir.
You guys played DeSoto tough in the first round of the playoffs. I know you're not into moral victories and that kind of thing, but when you look at what you guys face in a possible playoff run, if you take care of business in the regular season and to make that deep playoff one, what do the Weiss Wolves need to do in order to become a team that plays after Thanksgiving?
Besides staying healthy, I would say for sure we gotta play really good defense. I think we have the bullets on offense to go in and put ourselves in position to be successful every game. And I think that if we can be solid enough on defense to give ourselves a chance, I think we got a chance to be pretty good. We're in a tough district. We're in a tough region. We're in a tough bi-district as anyone else in the state. But I think if we can get better, we got some young guys that have to step in. If those guys can continue to progress and get better every single week, I think that we have a really good chance to be successful this year.
Coach, I appreciate your time. Enjoy watching your kids compete today, and good luck in 2023.
All right, thank you, man.
There is Vernon Hughes, head coach of the Pflugerville Weiss Wolves. Caught up with him at the State 7-on-7 tournament. Excited to see what his Wolves do in his first year there. He's an excitable young coach, and we're excited to see what he does with the Wolves coming up here in 2023. We appreciate his time down there in College Station. Now, let's go over to Mallory Hartley for America's second favorite segment, Final Thoughts. You got a lot to plug.
We have a lot going on this week. We'll start off with this. Tomorrow, the Republic of Football is going to be live from Big 12 Media Days.
Audible gasp.
Audible gasp, yes. And by live, I mean audio only. We are unable to do video just because ESPN owns the rights to that.
We don't want to mess with the mouse ears, man.
No, we don't want to go toe-to-toe with ESPN.
They got Frozen money.
Yeah.
They got Encanto money.
Correct. So you won't see us, but you'll still hear us. And the best part is we get to have a couple of our ROF Network friend podcasters join us on there too. Frogs Insider, Gambling Gachos, and Talking About Them Cougars are
I call
all
them
three
TBTC, but that's what the cool people do.
TBTC. Okay. Anyways. So yeah, very, very, very excited about that. We've already planned everything. We should be good to go. I'm pumped for it.
Yeah,
so
should be fun.
Yeah.
We are off tomorrow because you guys are taking over
Yes,
ROF during
correct.
this time on the stream. We are off Thursday because you're going to have the equipment and you don't want to bring it back. And then
I offered to bring it back.
Yeah,
However, I'm staying in Arlington
you're staying
for
in
Big 12.
Agtown, so that's fine. But then
Agtown's Whitetown.
on Friday, y'all are done seeing me. That's
Yeah,
the good news.
that's the best part.
The
Yeah.
good news is y'all are done with me until like next Wednesday because then we're going to coaching school. We'll have tons of coverage on our social media channels on coaching school. But on Friday it's WTF Takeover, correct?
Yes, WTF Takeover on Friday because we have a big announcement that we're going to, I guess, announce on or reveal on Friday for a special edition of Women Talking Football. It just so happens to also be our 1-year anniversary since we created this show.
Wait a second. That's very exciting. It's a huge announcement coming up here noon Friday here on this very channel where you're watching us. It'll be a WTF Takeover, Women Talking Football Takeover here on wherever you're watching this. But Mallory, I did not realize this, or at least I didn't commit it to memory because you guys are only 1 year old.
Close.
You and Pickle have the same anniversary as me and my wife.
Really?
Our anniversary is July 14th as well. It's Bastille Day.
That's right. Well, I don't know if it's exactly. It's the Friday before. Remember, we announced it the Friday before coaching school.
Well, that's no fun.
But
you
it's
can't
close.
say it's an anniversary.
Yes, you
an
can.
Anniversary is a date.
Whatever. It's close enough. It's like 1 day
I
off,
know.
but we're
Okay.
celebrating
Okay,
it that
that's
day.
fine.
So
You guys should spiritually make July 14th your anniversary.
Yes.
So then we can have the same anniversary.
Yes.
You guys can just be 10 years behind us.
okay, correct. Yeah. So please tune in to WTF on Friday at noon for a big announcement. We've been working on this project for months and months and months, and we're super, super excited to finally get to reveal
You know
it
what?
to you
I'm
guys.
just going to tell them.
Please don't.
I'm just going
I'm going to turn your mic off
Hey
real
guys,
quick.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not going to do
Your mic's off anyways. Your mic is off.
what you're going to like at the end of the show.
'Kay.
It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Pflugerville Weiss head coach Vernon Hughes for being our guest. For Mallory Hartley, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please give me your Player of the Year trophy. Our big announcement, go Rutgers.
Yeah!
Make sure you go watch
Let's go!
watch the Big 12 Media Days tomorrow here on Texas Football Today.